Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, the New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
I'm Rob. Not Luigi, because I'm wearing the green today.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Like Yoshi.
Yeah.
But it's like an olive green. That's more of like, you know, like the
Bowser.
The waiter at an Italian restaurant color.
Hey, I was a waiter at an Italian restaurant.
I know, that's why I said that.
And I wore black.
That's a fancy Italian restaurant. Wear that. That ain't no Olive Garden.
This is not Olive Garden.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not an Italian restaurant, for the record. Not an Italian restaurant.
No.
No self-respecting Italian person eats at a Olive Garden. I'm sorry. You can offer me all the soup and breadsticks you want. I'm not eating there. Not going to happen, okay? The breadsticks aren't even good. If I want good bread, I'm going to Red Lobster, goddammit, for some Cheddar Bay biscuits.
I was about to say, Red Lobster is not a seafood joint. It's a crap seafood joint.
Yeah. Well, you know what? They actually make the most money on is chicken.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, they're also going out of business because they give away too much of the unlimited shrimp.
Well, that's a whole different... We can have a whole other podcast on what happened with that. There's a whole bunch of people that screw them over in the process. But before we get started on the show, one other place really good for bread, and I don't think they even have them anymore necessarily, Bertucci's. They used to use the pizza dough, put that in the brick oven pizza, and put a little bread and garlic on top of it. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, my
Although,
God.
Another one, the last one, I get to have one in Texas Roadhouse. Not so much because the bread's that great. It's they got that cinnamon butter.
I've heard that. I've never been.
That butter is the butter.
Bada.
The baddest tits.
Bada.
It's amazing. It's well worth.
It's not margarine?
Oh, no.
Anyway.
You're talking about Texas Roadhouse. You're getting the butter. They don't want that.
I'll have to try it one time. So, let's get into all the Giants news here, guys. We got a little bit of Giants news to go over with you guys. Then we have to go over my latest victory against Rob and our weekly picks here. Oh, yes. I'm digging in with this.
Listen, I'm going to have one more week like I had 2 weeks ago. And then I'm going to be in a dominant lead, and you're going to be like,
I keep hearing that, but I don't actually see it. Just saying. You did 1 week, and you've been cocky about that week ever since. Just
why? Because I lost by one last week, and then we'll talk about what I lost by this week.
Okay.
And
We're
not
week
dominant
won 7 of the 9 weeks now. I just don't win by a lot, but I still win. A win is a win.
You win by one. All it takes is
a win. Still a win.
You're right, still a win. But when I beat you by 10,
yep, I still get the better.
It accelerates everything.
I am 7.
It doesn't matter.
I'm like the non-Giants. I'm 7-2.
What you're very good at, and kudos to you, is the trifecta. So
I always seem to do good on that. That's what's got me on the lead right now. But we'll talk about that stuff here in a minute.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the Giants news here. So, first news we got to go over. And I hate to talk about this man again, guys, but we got to do it. We got people going all over social media right now. And listen, it's not the content creators. It's not the pundits. It's not the media members. It's not whatever the term you want to use. It's the fans. And I'm seeing them all over, especially Facebook and Twitter right now, talking about, oh, if we had Saquon Barkley, we'd be a playoff team. Oh, if we should never let Saquon Barkley walk. We'd be a playoff team right now. Oh, we'd be winning so many more games.
It's not the problem.
And a lot of this is because of the fact that, let's be honest, Saquon's in the news because of that backwards hurdle he did, which kudos to him. That was a freaking awesome play.
That was an amazing play.
I was awesome. But let me ask this question to those people saying that. If that were the case, how much worse is our record right now than it usually is? We're on pace for what we're usually doing, guys. How many times do we make the playoffs with Saquon Barkley? He is not the answer for us. I'm sorry. I get it. There's people that liked him a lot, rooted for the guy for, enough years that they feel like they invested in him and they're kind of hurt by how everything went down. And as much as you hear the Snaquan crowd, the people that blame Saquon for leaving, there's also a good amount of segment, and I'll point blank say it. I'm in that segment myself. That I think it's not on Saquon. It's on the Giants for the way they let him leave. They try to set him up on to be the villain on Hard Knocks and everything, but never gave him an offer. Joe Shane publicly said he's old and washed up basically on Hard Knocks. He didn't say that exactly, but I'm probably paraphrasing what he said about running backs, but all the carries.
Yeah. Do you want to pay that much money for a 30-year-old running back? Yeah, it says pretty much.
That being said, that still doesn't make him the key to winning. That still doesn't make him the key to going to the playoff. And you can sit there and say, oh, yeah, the Eagles are doing good. The Eagles are on the way to the playoffs. So the Eagles have made the playoffs the last couple of years, guys.
In the past 10 years, they've made the playoff more times than not.
Yeah.
So say that Barkley's the reason why they're going to go to the playoffs. They won 11 games last year. They won 13 the year before.
And Barkley's the reason why. They're 10-1 to start, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So
right now they're 6-2, guys. You can make the statement they're worse than last year.
Yeah. So you're gonna sit there and tell me Barkley's the answer? It's what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Brain malfunction.
That's why I'm saying it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, they're actually right now they are ranked worse for points than they've been in the last 3 years. They were in 22, third most points, 23, seventh most points. This year, 10th most points in the league. He's not people are, and I think it's reminiscing, and we're kind of remembering the good and forgetting the bad. He still stinks at pass protection. He still drops passes. He still gets injured. I know he hasn't yet with the Eagles. Give it time. He's
not going to get injured this year, but he will be injured the next few years. I hate to say it like that.
The X if you see it a year later that you go, this is the X this year. A year later, you get those rose-colored glasses and everything was great back then. Why did I ever let this person go?
Exactly,
guys. We had him for how many years and didn't make the playoffs? He's not the answer. He's not the reason the Eagles even going into the playoffs if they do. The reason he's going to do that is because they've gone the last 3 years overall. They've gone the last 6 of the 7 years leading into this, guys. This is not like he went to a poverty-stricken franchise and turned them around. He was an added piece to a team that's already, again, in the playoffs
the
6 of the last 7 seasons, including going to 2 of the last 7 Super Bowls. And we don't like to ever give kudos to the Eagles. But let's be honest, guys, and say it. They're going through a really good run right now. And we as Giants fans would give our left testicle to be in that kind of run. Let's just call it what it is. The right one I'm not giving up. The left one, though. The left one.
Yeah, definitely the right one. Because I had
to think about it.
Which one hangs lower that has a little weight to it?
People got to remember this. They're acting like he went to a team that was doing horrible and all of a sudden helped them turn it around. Now, granted, they looked really bad the last, half of last year. But again, they've got a proven record 6 of the last 7 years. This is not a team of poop, to put it nicely. So we don't get yelled at by YouTube. It's not a team like that. It's not like he went to the Browns and made them a playoff team. It's not like he went to the Jaguars and made them a playoff team. The Panthers. People are acting like that. He went to an already good offense and added to it. And again, this is an offense, guys, that literally is scoring less points right now than they have in the last couple of years. You could make the case that Saquon on the Eagles is worse than Swift on the Eagles. You can make the case that it's worse than Sanders on the Eagles. Granted, there's other variables to this. I'm just saying the running back is not what has made this team good right now. This team was good before he got there. He's playing behind the best line he's ever played with, He's 100%. Playing alongside the best weapons he's ever played alongside. Saquon is not excelling in Philadelphia, guys, because it's Saquon. It's not like you put him on the Eagles and he does the same damn thing. If that's the case, he would be doing the same damn thing last year. He didn't, because he's not as good as you people seem to think he is right now. He's a good player, don't get me wrong, and he's a top 5 running back in this league still. I'm not trying to take the man down and try to say otherwise. But he's not the second coming of Barry Sanders, as much as we hoped he would be when he first got drafted, because he was an amazing player that rookie year. And if he had stayed healthy and been that player for a few years, you could have made that call. He's not Emmitt Smith.
No.
He's not Walter Payton. He's not Eric Dickerson. He's not one of those type of running backs. What he is he's a very good running back in a league that doesn't have a lot of good running backs.
Especially the past couple of years.
Yes. So guys, remember that when you're seeing people talk like this. Joe Shane made the biggest mistake letting this guy leave the building. This team is pooped now. This team has been nothing. We have been bad consistently, guys. For how long now?
How a decade? We're talking about the decade mark.
Yeah, like that. People are acting like
we're talking about the past 6 years.
We lost Saquon. This team went to poop. No, we've been bad.
I think since Daniel Jones has became a starter for the Giants.
Yep.
I saw a stat somewhere like there's only one time at this point in his career where he's got more than 2 wins.
Now, we drafted him, was it 2018, I want to say?
Yes.
Okay. So 2018
or 17.
I want to say it was 18 that he was drafted, and that was his rookie year. Let's take a look real quick. I'll take a look real quick.
Yeah, let's take a
anyway,
look. Yeah.
What I'm getting real quick
18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23,
Saquon Barkley.
24. Yeah, you're right. 18.
I usually am. Yep, it's 18. In his entire time with us, the Giants didn't win a single divisional title, guys. Let alone an NFC title, the Super Bowl. We didn't win a single one. You're talking 6 years, guys. We had 1 second-place finish. And that was the first year with Judge, when the division was pure crap. And the Commanders won. I think they were the Washington football team back then, but whatever the hell they want to call it back then. And they were, I think, was like, didn't they, like, the Eagles put in Jalen Hurts the first time ever, and the Commanders won because of that, people think, and therefore they got the title. It's one of those kind of scenarios. We were close because the division was that horrible. But that's the only time, guys. So you're talking, here's our rankings just in the division alone, guys, in the time that Saquon was here. 4th of 4, 3rd of 4, 2nd of 4, 4th of 4, 3rd of 4, 3rd of 4. Like, I'm just wondering why people think that we're bad now because we lost Saquon. We've been bad.
I mean, granted, go play a little devil's advocate here. Probably 4 of those years, the two top teams had double-digit wins. So it wasn't like we're in a division where a division winner had 10 wins. Second place had 7 wins.
I get it. I'm just saying, like,
but it does also at the same point, like, I'm just saying, like, there's good talent in this division per se. But when you also finish with 6 wins, you're not going to make the playoffs.
No.
So let me also say that there as well. But I'm saying, like, when you look at last year. You had 12 wins and 12 and 12, 13 and 12. It was Eagles and the Cowboys. The year before that, it was 12 and 5 and 13 and 4. The year before that, your boys win again, 12 and 5. Eagles probably had 10 wins.
Yeah, I mean, he literally is on pace for his highest yards per carry average and probably his most yards as well at this point. We'll see if he stays healthy to get it.
Yeah.
Like, I just think Giant fans need to get out of this mentality of this. And like I said, I hate they're even talking about Saquon again, guys. I apologize to those who are like, God damn it, I'm done with Saquon. I want to be done with this.
Bye-bye.
I can't tell you how many damn comments I'm seeing all over Facebook by fans going, we should have kept Saquon. Should have kept Saquon. Listen, if you want to say that we should have kept Saquon, you are very much entitled to your opinion. I am not anti people that have different opinions than me at that point. I still think we made the right move. I think we said this in the leading into this that he's going to crush it year one, and that's not going to determine this contract or bad. It's going to be later on down the line what he does. But that being said, you can have a different opinion without talking out your butt. Having Saquon on this roster would not have made us a much better team because Saquon wouldn't do what he's doing in Philadelphia here in New York. Point blank, would not. And I can say that because he never did. He's got that better supporting cast. He's got that better blocking scheme. He's got the better offensive line. He's got all the things going for him. And listen, guys, I'm not going to say Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than DJ. That we probably is. I'm just not a big Hurts fan, so I don't want to give him anything positive. You know, he's
when
not
you say
a quarterback, but he's probably better than DJ.
But not to be too disrespectful, that's not saying too much.
No, it's not.
Like when you talk about top 10 quarterbacks,
yeah,
Hurts is in the conversation. DJ is not.
Yeah, like I'm just saying, like that's what he's got, and people need to recognize that's what's caused this. It's not because Saquon would have been the same with the Giants, and the Giants just gave up on him too soon. Because we had him for long enough, guys. We had him for 6 years. He was injury prone. He wasn't nearly as good as he is now. You can say he had really 2 great years with us, 22 in his rookie season. 2 of those 6 years. And guess what, guys? We still didn't win crap with those 2 years. And I'll still say it. Bill Belichick was wrong because I've heard a lot of people talk about his comments with this, but he said how they signed some offensive linemen. No, we didn't. What we did was we used the money for Barkley and McKinley. McKinney, Xavier McKinney. And we went ahead and got Brian Burns. That's what we got.
Yeah.
Because if you put those 2 salaries together, that's what it is Brian Burns' salary. So we could have still got the linemen and kept McKinney and Barkley. We wanted Brian Burns. And in the end, if you take your heart out of it and you look at your brain, and on this show I've said multiple times, Brian Burns is not a $30 million pass rusher. And I'm still not sold in that he hasn't playing decent this year, where he's been playing like 25 maybe. But that's still the right call to get the edge rusher. So, like I said, I want this to be the last segment that we do on Barkley. I really do. And Deb's right. It's time to move on from Barkley. He's gone, period. Exactly.
Thank you. 100%.
And it's weird we're saying that while we're talking about him. I get it. I get the irony of the topic. I really do. But it's like I'm just so I'm so befuddled, bewildered by all the Giant fans that I'm seeing talking as if we gave up somebody who would have done this for us.
Well, Drew, I'm going to burst your bubble real fast because
burst the bubble.
How many times
bubble burster?
This will not be the last time we talk about Barkley.
Yeah, we'll talk about it again next time we play.
100%. That's where I'm going to go. And who knows? Maybe he has a
I'm fibbing.
So at least one more time. He also has another. He has one more great game.
Because we lose all our games.
Yeah, my time. But we'll also probably be talking about him if he has a great game when he goes to play Dallas and just blows it up.
Not too much. Not too much.
Saying like he goes, 2 touchdowns, 200 yards. We're like,
We still
all the fans are going to be crazy.
We want them all to lose. So
Yeah.
let's talk about a player that we are going to continue to talk about like crazy. At least as long as he's a Giant, which the way things are going, who knows how much longer that is. And that's Deonte Banks. Because there were some words had after this game here yesterday by Scary Terry McLaurin. We talked about him leading into the show where we're like, okay, well, this is the one player that Deonte Banks actually kind of shut down last time. That's the truth. Like, he got 22 yards in week 2 against us. That is not a typical game at all for Terry McLaurin, but that's what he did. So yesterday, he wasn't exactly the top receiver. Like, it wasn't even still a Scary Terry kind of day. But he had 2 catches for 19 yards, which, again, on paper, sounds great. But then you look at the fact that both those receptions were touchdowns. So, at a certain point, you got to go, okay, 41 yards in 2 games of Scary Terry. That's good.
Yeah.
That's, like, really good. And I got to give Banks props for that part of it there. But there's a scary trend that he talked about. So, from his film study, Terry McLaurin observed that Banks is, quote, not really aggressive in the red zone. Guys, if there's one place you need to be aggressive, it is in the red zone. Especially because guess what happens if you get called pass interference in the end zone?
1 yard line.
And if you're already on the 1 yard line,
half yard line.
What I'm getting at is the closer you are to the end zone, the more aggressive you can be because you're risking less.
Yes.
I would rather you punch the damn player and him not catch a touchdown and then they get a first down. Obviously, I'm not actually advocating for punching on the football field, though it does happen. But I would rather see him get that aggressive and like do whatever he has to do to avoid the guy catching the ball than playing it easy. Because all you're giving up is a first down at that point. That's it. And don't get me wrong, I don't mean that's it. Like, obviously, you have 1 yard and you have 3 times to get in the end zone now. It makes it much easier. But still, it's much harder to do that than it is to have the guy already caught the touchdown and get the 7 points.
Yeah.
So that's what you really have to be more aggressive in the red zone. And it's kind of a really scary indictment on him when an opponent that sees him regularly, he's played him 3 times now, because he was on him the second matchup last year because Adoree Jackson was shockingly enough hurt. Who would have thought he got hurt? I know, it's crazy. Here's what else he said. He said, I knew Banks likes to really slow play routes in the red zone. He likes to kind of, no pun intended, bank inside, meaning he takes inside leverage. I knew he was playing a little head up on that route, so I watched the Cleveland game when Amari Cooper kind of rocked him a little bit. That was more of a true slant, and mine was kind of a more one-step slant, but the same principles apply. Now, what he was talking about in that play specifically was the second touchdown. And what he was saying is, because Banks took the inside, because Banks wasn't very aggressive and gave him a little bit of leniency, so to speak, there, when he took that step, when Banks was already 1 step off of him, and he got an extra step on him, guess what? He really got 2 steps now because he already had 1 step in there. And he knew the guy was on his inside, so take the 1 step towards the inside to make him go more inside, go outside, and you have that room. And that's all a guy like that needs.
100%. It's also NFL. It's not college.
Yeah.
That's wide open.
Now, what's interesting is he didn't make a comment that I saw on this, but the first touchdown, those of you all that are watching the play-by-play, I was flipping the hell out because he was so far outside of the receiver that it was so easy for McLaurin to go ahead and get that easy slant route. And that was the complete opposite. He was outside, and we all know McLaurin, what he likes to do. He loves doing slants. Like, that's not a new thing. It's a typical thing at the end zone. That's what he does.
Yep.
And he went right for that quick slant and got a touchdown really quickly. And Banks couldn't catch up in time. By the time he even got close to him, the ball was already in his hands because he gave him that much room. So he's got a very valid point there. That's a lack of aggression at the end zone. Now, I have to also say that part of that I can't blame on him, because I'd have to actually talk to the coaching staff and see where he should have been based on their scheme. That's the one disadvantage you have when you talk about players. If you don't know the play, you could be talking out of your butt. Let's be honest in that. For all I know, he was lined up on the outside him on purpose because that's what the coaching staff had designed in that play.
Right.
I don't want to sit there and blame that all on him. But, again, we all saw how open that was. We all knew how it was coming. I saw it coming up before the play even happened. If I can see it, and granted, I know a little bit about football. I don't know nearly as much as Banks does.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not going to PS it. Like, he knows a lot more than I do because the man has played it professionally now for a couple of years. He played it in college. He's played it since he was 5 years old, probably.
So let's hope he knows a lot more than you do.
He's better.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's an issue when players are really calling out your inefficiencies in your game. And fans at home can sit there and watch it and see the obvious flaws as well. That's an issue.
Big time.
And I really wish, and this is part of why I get really ticked off at what happened this offseason on some of these things. And don't get me wrong, I know the Giants wanted to draft a corner in the second round even. That was pretty obvious in Hard Knocks. But they still never brought in a legit number one corner. They should have done that, point blank. They put too much on this kid. I'm going to say it like that. They put too much on Banks. The guy spent a year in the NFL as primarily a number two, and you just upgrade him to number one when he struggled as a number one last year, guys. Let's be very clear on that. CB Lamb ate him for breakfast. Terry McLaurin ate him for breakfast last year. He did not look good as a starter. And we just automatically threw him out there as a starter. Now he's getting burnt week in, week out. And we're shocked that he's losing inches. We're shocked he's getting frustrated. We're shocked he's upset. I'm not saying he's voicing it, doing it in a proper way. I'm not condoning that part of it. But, Rob, when you're not happy at work, do you work hard? Or would you say it's natural you're going to lose a little bit of your oomph, for lack of a better term?
Yeah, there's definitely a loss of oomph, but I mean...
Your boss is not watching, don't worry.
He does watch, so shh.
I'll say it like myself, like we're all human. When we get frustrated with our job, we don't do as good a job. That is normal.
It's hard for me because anytime I'm into anything, I'm in sales. You know, I also was a competitor in this and that. So anytime like I put my heart in something, I put my pedal, put the foot to the floor, with the pedal, if you will, pedal to the metal. But listen, like sometimes when like the prior company I was working at, they don't treat you right. They don't set you up for success, and things aren't going well. It's very easy to let that foot relax a little bit.
And at least let us get a second number two, at least.
Yeah.
So we could have had an option. Okay, let's split him up a little bit. Let's have a second person that can compete with him for the number one CB position. We just handed it right to him. There's no backup plan. It's kind of crazy. We said this going into the season, guys. That scared us. And guess what? That has come to fruition once again. So, all right, let's talk about a young player who does have his head on straight. And he's gotten a lot of crud from the media and all, acting like he doesn't. And that's Malik Neighbors. Giving some thoughts here after the game on team building. He was talking to Pat Leonard. And Pat Leonard afterwards said Malik Neighbors said he'd rather build something from the ground up because, quote, it feels better when you come from the mud and you start winning successfully. Guys, this guy, like, I swear, he like sneezes the wrong way and everybody's on him like he's like a horrible cancer to this team and he shouldn't be playing in this league and he's immature and he's
Well, his problem is
bad.
His problem is, and it's not his doing. His problem is that he's in the spotlight of OBJ.
Yep.
And
Wide receivers in general. I mean, how many headaches
Yeah.
are wide receivers? Let's be honest.
well, that, but like, let's talk about the last time we had a stud wide receiver.
Yep.
So OBJ.
LSU.
And what happened? We watched the destruction and the head case of OBJ. We watched the crazy yards he put up, the touchdowns,
Oh, yeah.
the one that catch, all these good stuff. But then we also watched him fight and kicking that. We watched him pee on it.
That was funny. That was funny. That part, you got to admit. That was a good one.
Yeah. I'm just saying. But you watched the
Kicking
destruction.
that fight was stupid.
Yeah. So, like, you're looking at, see about that malfunction. Like, at the same time, like,
Function?
malfunction. But
Disassemble. Disassemble.
I read something like this as a guy, like, he wants to succeed. He wants to do good. And you know what? I also take like that kind of comment. He wants to put into the work to make the team a better team, a great team. Like, he's not saying fire everyone per se. Like, yeah, you can take that out of there. Like, but he's saying, yeah, listen, the team's in mud as it is now. But like, he's talking about being part of a rebuild team. Yes,
but it's also what do you want to say? Mud.
Well, it is mud. 100%. I just said they are in mud. But he's also saying like he wants to put in the work to make this team a playoff team. Like, that's what I take away from him. Like, he doesn't care what he has to do, but like, he's going to do what he's going to do what it takes to get us to the playoffs. He wants to grind, and that's what you should take away from this. Like, he wants to put the work in and make us better.
Yeah, like I said, I thought this was one of the better quotes that I've seen Giants players give in a long time as far as that, because it's got to be frustrating for him. And don't get me wrong, if you actually sat him down in a corner at that point and talked to him and there was no cameras around, he'd probably say, yeah, I wish we were winning. I wish we didn't take this team from the mud, but it's where we're at.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's funny how that quote's not getting a whole lot of issues right now. It's not getting a whole lot of press. But God forbid he says one thing that someone can twist. Woohoo! Top story. Malik Neighbors says he hates peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Joe Shane's pissed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, anything they can make a story out of this kid negative. And
He's such a diva, doesn't like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Disregard he's allergic to peanuts.
It's like,
totally speculating, guys don't know.
The season's not that good. Things are a little slow. Readership, viewership is down for every single. Listen, guys, I see all the numbers from all the other content creators as well, not just ours. I pay for a service that gives me access to that stuff, even though I'm not supposed to have access to that stuff.
Ooh.
I can no, but it's $5 a month. It's nothing crazy, but nothing. It's TubeBuddy, by the way. I'll give you guys the name even. It's nothing crazy, nothing fancy, but it gives me access to see what he's doing. I can tell you guys, every single Giants content creator that I go to is down. Every single one. It includes us. I'll say point blank like that.
Yeah.
But you don't have to manufacture bad news to get people's attention. And that's what the media does every time this kid speaks. We should give him a positive when he says something positive. You can't just attack him when he says something that's misconstrued. Or he says something he probably shouldn't because he is still a kid. He's still learning how to adapt and to be in this market. And then not give him kudos when he says something good. That's saying something good. We're going to give him the kudos. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Kudos.
There we go. We're done. Next up. Let's talk about Week 9. It's in the books, guys.
Want to pay the bills?
Before we do that, we're going to pay the bills. Because otherwise, Rob's going to get upset. I can see he's already getting upset. We're paying the bills. It's okay, Rob. We'll pay the bills. We'll pay the bills.
Enjoying the show? Looking for more goofball action? Consider a membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Memberships start at just $5 and give you additional goofball access. One-time support payments also available starting at just $3. buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.
All right, guys. And don't forget as well, besides also supporting the program there at the buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Also, you can go ahead and send a super chat on YouTube. You can also go ahead and send stars on Facebook. Or listen, I know money's tight for a lot of people right now. If you really just want to show us you like the show and you want to support it, the best way is to give a like, give a subscribe, give a share, hit the bell on YouTube, tell a couple friends at that point that are Giants fans as well. Word of mouth is a big way to help spread this. And like we say all the time, we're not good at marketing. We admit that freely. So we count on you all to give us a little help with that. So maybe we're selfish. I don't know. All right, let's get into week 9 there. So let's recap what's going on here, because the big thing we got to talk about is, of course, where we're at in the scores right now. So Rob had to step out for just a second here, so he's going to miss the fact that we're going to go over what we're at to start here. So starting into this week, I have a small two point lead here going into this. And like I said, kind of whipping Rob's butt the whole time. That's what I do. As I hear Rob in the background, I know he's back on. But that's what I do. I whip Rob's butt on a weekly bet. Oh, yes. So up to
weekly bet, you're right.
Let's see how we did this week here. Let's start off, of course, with Thursday Night Football, the game that just proves sometimes Vegas just knows something, because we all thought, how the hell would the Jets be favorites against the Texans? Well, we apparently should have been, because they won. Jets win 21-13. Jets winning in general is not a phrase you get to say very often, but winning against a good team like the Texans, that's a bit shocking. So we had the Texans to win outright. They lost. Obviously, they were a spread pick for both of us. They lost. Rob and I did both have the under, though. So therefore, we each got a point there. So 1 point for Gryffindor, 1 point for Slytherin. Next up, you pick who's Gryffindor, you pick who's Slytherin, by the way. It's all whoever you want it to be.
I never watched Harry Potter, so I don't know. Anyway, up next, you had the Cowboys going to Atlanta playing the Falcons Sunday at 1 o'clock. The Falcons were 3-point favorites at home. And over-under this game was at 51.5 points over here. But the Falcons come in. They kick some butt, Drew and I.
Whoop, whoop.
Picked the Falcons to win. We also took the Falcons to cover this game, which, whoop, whoop, dominated fashion. F them boys. Cow pukes for John Anderson Jr. out there. And then we lost the trifecta because we both went over. Whee! Yeah, we both took the over on this game, and them boys did not put up some points.
Yeah, and that's the one disappointment is that I thought that'd be a high scoring game. That was much more low score than I thought it'd be.
Yeah, it's funny because Atlanta's defense is it's like a hit or miss.
Yeah, you never know. It's like a box of chocolates.
Yeah. Oh, you can only get 11 points against the Atlanta's defense, and next week, you're allowed 47 points.
Yeah. Didn't definitely go good. Next game, we definitely were way wrong on. Listen, we had a good week, guys. I'm saying this right now. Like Rob and I both had a good week here, but this was not our games coming up, the early ones.
No.
Broncos at the Ravens. Now, going into this, the Broncos have looked a lot better the last couple of weeks. Scored a decent amount of points. So, we thought the Ravens would win. We thought the Broncos would cover the spread. And we thought that both of them have good enough defenses to get the under. Well, yeah, the Ravens did win. We got that right. But the Ravens freaking crushed the Broncos 41-10. So there goes that under, and there goes that spread pick for us.
Yeah, they almost put up the over themselves. That was a heinous spanking.
That was, yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, up next, talk about another upset that ruined the trifecta, which, once again, Vegas knows what they're talking about. You had a division. Yeah, sometimes they do. Sometimes they like the honeypot people to come and take games. I realize I say a honeypot as I start waving my hands in it.
Hey, I just realized you cheated.
What?
You gave yourself a trifecta in the game we're about to talk about. Yeah. Caught
You
you cheating.
What are you talking about? Hey, we're gonna talk about this together. So
Okay, let's talk about cheating.
The Bills host the Dolphins over here.
Uh-huh.
The Bills were 5.5-point favorites. The over/under was 49 points. Drew and I both took the Bills to win. We also took them against the spread, but Tua was in there. There's a little more life in this the Bills team here. Oh, I see what you're talking about.
Yeah, you gave yourself a trifecta, you cheater.
Oh, stop it. You act like you never made a mistake when you took away points from me. How many times?
Never have I made a mistake.
I'm going to have to go back the past 8 weeks. Because I caught you cheating 1 week.
Try to get your revenge. I'm on to you.
Yeah.
I'm back up even more.
So we both took the Bills at the spread. Both goose eggs.
Oh, yes.
I took the over. I'm sorry. I took the over. Drew took the under. I messed up, gave myself a trifecta because the over hit.
Yeah, just the over. You get your spread.
But I think it's
trifecta for you.
So I get 2 points. I get 2 points. Drew gets 1.
Next up, we have the game that literally cost a person a job. That's where we're at here. Dennis Allen fired after losing to the Carolina Panthers. And now he needs TP for his bunghole. You spit out your water. But yeah, Saints. Listen, that's bad, guys. That's bad. You can't lose the Panthers. And I say that we're going to face the Panthers this week, and we suck. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, Saints were a 7-point favorite in this, guys. 7 points. So we had the Panthers winning 23-22. So 1 point victory. A victory is a victory. You and I both had the Saints to win. We both lost. I did pick the Panthers to beat the spread. I got my point for that. And then I had the over, so I get my point for that, whereas you had the under. So I got 2-0 on that one there.
Yeah. That was terrible. That was a terrible game. Start to finish, but listen, it's a divisional game. You never know what could happen. We talked about that before, but if it was anything like the first time they met, the Saints spanked. But a shellacking. They should have went to jail for the beating they put on the Panthers.
Yeah. Destroy them.
And then you had this week. Wow.
Yeah. Not good.
Up next
firing
game. Yeah. Next firing.
Well, they did. They fired their offensive coordinator today.
Yeah. You had the Raiders.
The Raiders.
They went to Cincinnati, played the Bengals. The Bengals were favorite in this game by 7 points, and the over/under was 46.5 points. And we picked the right winners. We picked the Bengals. The Bengals here to win. We also took the Raiders to cover that 7 points, but guess what happened? Joe Burrow showed up and shellacked this team, which, just like you said, the offensive coordinator for the Raiders were fired.
Yep.
This is the first time.
Luke Getsy, not to be confused with Leo Getz for the Lethal Weapon franchise played by Joe Pesci.
But
F you at the drive-thru.
This is the first time that the Raiders, when there were 7 points or more as the underdog, lost the spread pick this year.
That's also 5 losses in a row, by the way, guys, with the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean,
not good.
No, terrible. And
I want them to win.
Yeah, but Drew, we both picked the over in this game, so we get the points there.
Yep, we got that. By the way, the rumor is who they're actually looking at.
Rumor has it
they're actually looking at Norv Turner to potentially be
rumor has it.
Winner. Norv Turner, the guy is 72 years old, guys.
And it's
72. That's definitely a little bit past what you expect there. By the way, he also hasn't coached in the league since 2019 when he was the offensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot changes in 4 years, guys. Now, he's been in other leagues, I'm sure, because if I remember right, he was with the UFL or something for a little while there. But yeah, that's not good, guys. I'm actually looking it up. I don't even see anything about that. So maybe he wasn't. I could have swore I remember seeing that somewhere. But Norv Turner, that's a name I hadn't heard in a long, long time, guys. So interesting idea there.
Yeah.
Next up, we got the game that was a pretty bad blowout again here. A lot of blowouts this week. Chargers 27, Browns 10, guys. So guess what? I picked the Chargers. Guess what Rob picked?
Going for the upset.
He went for the Browns. I picked the Chargers for the spread. He picked the Browns. You and I both picked the under. So you got a point. I got the trifecta. I got all 4 points there.
Brutal.
That was a good game for me. Oh, whoa.
What?
No, I'm kidding with you.
I was like,
You're like, what did I do now?
I was like, I had a 3-0 in my lap. And I said,
Hey, wait a minute here.
Well, up next was our game. Guys, if you really want to know what we think about this game, go listen to our podcast from yesterday.
Or just throw a bunch of 4-letter words into a hat, shake it up, and then start picking them out one by one. And that pretty much sums up our thoughts on the game.
Yeah. Mine usually starts with an F.
Mine's S.
And rhymes with duck. But there's like 3 Ks. So it's not 4-letter word.
Schmuck?
Yes, schmuck. Because that starts with an F. Or duck.
Anyway. For me.
Yeah. Anyway, you had the Commanders coming into MetLife Stadium, and they were favored by 4 points in MetLife. And the over-under was 44.5 points. And Drew and I both picked DC to cover this game, win this game. And we both went with the under, which ruined our trifecta. But, yeah, we got our butts kicked yesterday, guys. Wow.
Scary thing is we still didn't get our butts kicked. We could have one more touchdown, and a couple of things could have easily been the difference maker in that. So
it wasn't a close game.
Maybe if we got at least 10 passing yards in the first half,
or instead of -10.
Just saying. Well, we had 0 passing yards. Don't over exaggerate. It wasn't that bad.
Or only negative 19 for a whole quarter. Whatever.
It's sanity. All right, next one. Another one that was a very close game here. So we had a mixture of everything blowout or really, really close here, basically. This is the first of the 2 overtime games this week, and that is the Patriots and the Titans. The Titans squeaked out a victory 20-17 in the extra time there. So you and I got a little bit of a split on this one here because you picked the Titans to win, which they did. Titans were favored, though, by 3.5 points. So I picked the Patriots on the spread pick. I got that. You picked the Titans. You and I both got the under. So we went 2-2 each in this one here. That's a 50-50 proposition for us there.
Or 60.
I'll allow it. What do you not allow it?
Well, it should be 6-6, but
Same.
Anyway, yeah, up next, because it was fun, because when I wrote down my notes, I forgot how to spell Titans, and I just wrote half the name with an S, and it's something else I would like to spread. Whoopsie.
On there?
I did.
I'm just going to call it out. That's okay. We're allowed to say that on YouTube, I think. Sorry, everybody watching the show with children in the car.
Yeah.
We said spits. Wait, that's not better.
I wrote it Hawk Tua.
She's done a lot of money for charity now.
Yeah.
Well, actually, she really has a lot of charity work for
true,
So
she really has. But apparently, she also just started her an OnlyFans or something like that page.
Listen, go for it. Who cares?
I don't care.
Make your money while you still can.
100%. You're not going to be 21 forever.
It's not just that. It's like you get a ton of chances to make millions of dollars. Make your chances when you get them. Listen, you want to see my feet? Someone pay $1 million right now with $1 million super chat. I will show my feet.
Yeah. My feet aged a little bit. They're not as good as what they used to be, but they're still.
Who am I kidding? I probably show him for $50 super chat. Just saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, next
guys.
game.
25 guys. He'll cut back. Anyway, up next is this. All right, 750.
And tax.
Yeah. Up next is the first of the 4 o'clock games. You had the Bears go into Arizona. Scottsdale.
Glendale.
Sorry, you're right.
Wrong deal.
Oh,
Chippendale.
Chippendales.
No, the Rescue Rangers, not the dancers.
Yeah. Oh, rats. Oh, no, they're chipmunks. Anyway, the Cards were favored by 1.5 in this game.
Rescue Rangers.
Anyway, the over on this game was 44.5 points. Yeah. So, Drew, you took the Bears to win this game. I took the Cards.
Yeah, you got this one right.
Cards won. Obviously,
the Cards win.
The Cards win. And I took the Cards in the spread. Get the hot dog in the spread. Oh my God. So I got 2 points to your absolutely goose egg in this game because I also took the over as you did. And
no
trifecta for me.
I got the dumb factor on that one.
Yeah. The womp, 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 womp.
Womp the womp. Who put the womp and the womp, the womp, the womp?
Ooh.
Who put the ring and ring a ding ding dang?
Well, you can talk about the trifecta right now. So
let's go for it because we got the Jaguars at the Eagles. And yeah, guys, I said this at the beginning, and I said that the spread was too much. And yeah, I was right because the Eagles win. So you and I both got that part right, but it was a 7.5 point spread, guys. And that was just too much there for the per plus Daniel Jones at that point to not overcome. The Eagles won 28-23. So that's only 5 points for those keeping track at home there. So the Jaguars got the spread. I got that one right. And we got the over on the spread on the over under there. I got that one right, which gives me the trifecta. I win 4-1 on Rob on that one.
Brutal. Goddamn Jaguars.
Brutal.
Ruined everything. All about per plus and actually
Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno.
No, I'm saying brutal.
Oh,
because
okay.
I bought per plus because of that beautiful hair of Jacksonville DJ. And you know what? It gave me more dandruff. So F you.
At least you got hair.
Just kidding. I don't have dandruff. Look at this.
Just saying, could be worse.
Yeah. Up next.
I'm half fishing.
The game of the week that got me in trouble at home. You had the Lions playing the Packers.
Well, you had the Lions playing the Packers as well. We all got the Lions playing the Packers. Not just me. We don't have different schedules.
I was talking to everyone out there.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay, you
actually, no, that's fine. You had the Lions playing the Packers, but I had the Packers hosting the Lions, if you will.
Did you say Utes?
Utes. Sorry, Utes.
Price attraction.
The biological clock is kicking. The Lions were favored 2.5 points in this game. The over-under was at 48.5 points. So we both took the Lions to win this game. Both took the Lions in spread.
Yep.
And then we got Goose Day with the over.
Yep, sure.
And shame on me because the reason why I took the Lions hands down was Malik Willis. Should have won the under. Still went with the over. Thought defensive game. I thought actually the Lions would play better offensively. But Green Bay has actually got a surprisingly good defense. We both took the over. We lost 2 points apiece.
Yep. Yeah, 38 points. That's it. They were just 10 points off. So next up, we got the Rams at the Seahawks. For those keeping track, that is the male goat versus the imaginary bird. There's no such thing as a Seahawk. I'm still saying it.
When a Ram loves the Seahawk.
The Rams won
Team Ramrock
20. Also, this is the second overtime battle of the week here. So we got the Rams. We both picked to win. We both picked to beat the spread. It was only a 1.5 point spread at that point for the Seahawks to gain. That's nothing. We both picked the over. So guess what? We both get trifectas. Both perfect in every single way.
You are perfect. Sunday night football, guys. Sunday night. You got the Colts going to Minnesota playing the Vikings. The Vikings were 5.5 point favorites at home. And the over in this game was 46.5 points. Drew, both of us, smartly picked the Vikings to win because they've been a dominant football club over here. But the Colts have just been playing dirty football, very close football. We both picked them in the spread. So it gives us another 2 points. And notice we did this very smart. Oh, that's right. We took the under in this game. Second trifecta in a row for us.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Now, let's give the recap for this week now. So keep in mind, 14 games. We're back to bye week again because there was no bye week last week for anybody for some reason. There is back to 14 games in this week. So of the 14 games, I had 10 of the 14 correct for the winners straight up. You had 11. So, yeah, that's a pretty damn good ratio for us. I'll take that any day of the week. On the spread picks, I had 9 of them correctly. It puts me just at 64%. You had 6, which is definitely way below your average.
I usually do better at the spread than anything else.
Yeah, you're 50% on the year. And again, keep in mind we pick every single game, so I'm not 50% is a win as far as I'm concerned because there's several games you would never put money on that you have to give a pick for. On the over unders, I had 8, you had 7. So again, we're both 50% or over. I'll take that. My bread and butter, my specialty, the trifecta
this year,
getting the straight ups, the spread picks, and the over under in the same game. I had 4, you had 2. So as of right now, we have me up 31-26. The only thing you and I disagreed with on the game that's playing right now between the Chiefs and the Buccaneers was the Chiefs are getting 8.5 points, and I picked the Bucs to beat the spread. And as of right now,
the Bucs are winning 14-10.
Bucs are winning 14-10. So there's a potential that I get an additional point over you at that point. Potential. It's still a lot of football to play at that point, guys.
Yeah.
But that gives me a lead currently, at least 263-256. That's a 7-point lead. Now I have an 8-point lead in the trifectas. That's the crazy part. The trifectas are what's got the differences right now.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah, you're actually beating me overall in the picks. The trifectas got me the lead. You gotta get the trifectas.
But listen,
you got a 3-point lead in the straight up picks. I have a 3-point lead on the spread picks, and you have a 1-point lead on the over unders.
Yeah, it's been a very close year.
It has. It has.
Last year was also very close. I mean, we've always been very close.
Yeah. Who knows the first year because somebody stopped taking scores, but you know.
Yeah, someone deleted the scores because they got upset they were in scores.
It was a week later.
No.
Ever since my system with an actual spreadsheet, we've been good. I love spreadsheets.
That was your system the first time, too. Just saying.
Yeah, well, I perfected the system after your debacle.
Because you deleted your own system.
Anyway, guys, I deleted the picks because I thought you wrote them down within the week that you had to do it. Anyways, we got one more comment here real quick to go over. So Pale Rider, who, if you notice here, has the New Orleans Saints style paper bag over his head there with what I'm guessing is a Tiki Barber jersey. Is that what we got there? There's been a couple of 21s in the Giants' history, so I'm going to assume it's a Tiki Barber jersey.
Has to be.
But I never know. Could be Dory Jackson. I doubt it. Anyway, he says, do you have any hope at this point that Shane can not only pick a quality QB, but that Dave's can actually develop one? And
Yes.
yeah, I mean, it's difficult though. Go for it. You were quick with the yes, so go for it. You got some conviction, I feel like, of this.
No, look at Dable's history. He's had a track record of places he's been, but once he came back from college, we went down what Alabama was, and he came up and went to Buffalo as offensive as the OC, and then comes to us. He was part of the reason why they drafted. They went with Josh Allen to develop him over there and help develop him. Like, pay attention of what the Giants has been, what this team has been doing the past 3 years since Shane Dable was coming in. You want to get a quarterback, you can't get the quarterback. You don't reach. You got to respect that option. That's number one, right? You start working on a line. You get a line that was probably ranked in the top 32 in the NFL. And you prove it to the top probably at this week 18, right? Incredible improvement. You get rid of the stud running back to put a better defense into place. You get some better receivers. What does that remind you of 5 years ago? And I don't know, the AFC East, the Buffalo Bills getting Josh Allen, going with Singletary as a running back at that point, and improving their defense. You're looking to a team that's changing and developing the quarterbacks. And Josh Allen was not the first quarterback to go off the board. He was, the fourth? We talked about this recently. Fourth, fifth,
Yep.
Yeah, I have faith in this team to pick the talent at QB position. There's other things that I struggle with, but at times. But I do think, listen, you take out, and we spoke about this before, but you take out DJ out of the equation. So to say, perfect world, deadline tomorrow, we pick up Stafford. This team looks like a different team. It looks more like the Buffalo Bills of 2020 than the Buffalo Bills right now. And listen, any Giants fan back then will take that playoff caliber team, possibly go to the Super Bowl. We don't have to contend with the Kansas City Chiefs, which is their kryptonite. It's a different team.
See, I'm not sure, because I'm looking at this overall and I'm like, who do I think was the deserving person to get the credit in Buffalo? Was it Shane and Dable? Was it Brandon Beane? Was it I think it's Sean McDermott because he's a defensive coach. I could be wrong. Or crazy thought, was it Josh Allen? Now, what I like to look at is track record. Now, when Dable was first hired on, I was very not as outspokenly happy as a lot of the people I feel like were that are Giants fans. That was one of those things to be like, oh, we got Brian Dable. We developed Josh Allen. We'll be fine. Let's look at his history before he was a Giant head coach for a second here. 2009, first year as an offensive coordinator with the Cleveland Browns, had Brady Quinn and Derek Anderson splitting as quarterback. So Brady Quinn 9 games, Derek Anderson 7 games. Obviously, poop quarterbacks, didn't develop. Look at the running game they had. Had almost 2,100 yards rushing as a team. Jerome Harrison, 862 yards. Jamal Lewis, 500 yards. Josh Cribbs, 381. I mean, they had a good running attack there. Okay, so the next season, same place. He's in Cleveland still. Gets even worse at quarterback. Colt McCoy, Jake Delhomme, Seneca Wallace, those guys all did not do good. Peyton Hillis goes off that year. That's the year he goes off for 1,177 yards. Okay. Next year, he goes on to be the offensive coordinator at the Miami Dolphins. Matt Moore, Chad Henne. That's the quarterbacks. Again, bad quarterbacks. Look at what they did in the rushing attack. They had almost 1,100 yards from Reggie Bush that year. Keep in mind, Reggie Bush was not a 1,000-yard rusher. He was a guy who may get 1,000 complete total yards between passing and rushing, but he was never a 1,000-yard rusher this league. That wasn't a normal thing. He did it the year he was with Dable. 581 yards more at that point from Daniel Thomas as well. Again, almost 2,000 yards, or 13 yards shy. Then the next year, you go to Kansas City. He gets the offensive coordinator job there. Matt Castle, Brady Quinn. Again, not a good combo. They went 2-14. What they did have, though, is an offense that went for almost 2,400 yards rushing. Jamal Charles, who, again, one of the most underrated backs of his generation, unless you're a fantasy football player.
Yeah.
1,509 yards. Peyton Hillis, we talked about before, did good at the Browns there. Got 309 yards as well. Like I said, really good rushing team. Now, let's look at the Giants now as him as a head coach. We've been a really good rushing team for a lot of that. Again, we had Saquon Barkley that helps. We have Daniel Jones, whose best move is running the ball. Hate to say it as a quarterback, that is his best move. That's what he's best at.
Sadly.
We've done decent as a rushing attack. We have no passing attack. The only time in the NFL, at least, leaving out his time at Alabama, only time he's really succeeded in the NFL and had a good passing attack is when he's had Josh Allen. So I can't sit there and say that Josh Allen is a product of Dable when he's doing with us what he's done everywhere but Buffalo. I'm not going to say it's not Dable because Dable was obviously part of developing him, and he was a developmental project when they drafted him, guys. He was by no means the final, finished, polished, prospect. But he did also work his tail off, same as he did when he was in college, because he didn't really get offers. He wasn't a big-time prospect. Yeah. So, like I said, I don't know what to think as far as that part. I liked what Dable did the first year with Jones. Obviously, that was a nice uptick for Jones's production. Jones has been back to being poop ever since. So was that just his career year? I don't know. But I can't sit there and say I have all this faith in Dable as a quarterback mentor at this point, because I'm back to where I was originally when we hired him, saying some bad track record here. Then I turn to Joe Schoen. This is Joe Schoen's first job as a GM. The only way I'd feel confident in Joe Schoen picking the quarterback is to see the room when they drafted Josh Allen and hear the conversations that were had and to see what he said about not just Josh Allen, but the rest of those quarterbacks. Because there was a lot of quarterbacks that year, guys. There was a lot of quarterbacks. You had Darnold, you had Baker, you had Josh Rosen, you had Lamar Jackson, and you had Josh Allen. I want to hear what he said about all those guys, because this was a class that he clearly scouted like crazy, because the Bills knew they were taking a quarterback. They traded up twice to get him. Like, there was no doubt they were getting a quarterback in this draft. That was the plan from the get-go. And without having that knowledge, I can't sit there and say if Dable was right or wrong in that quarterback class. With Brandon Beane, the GM of the Bills, who made that call. It could have been Shane was like, I don't like Josh Allen. Don't do it. We have no clue. I'm not saying he did or didn't. I don't know. But that's where he's even more of an unknown commodity as far as QB picking than Dable is at QB grooming.
That's fair.
So I can sit here and tell you, yes, you can develop a quarterback under Dable because it's been done. But I can't sit there and tell you Dable is good at developing quarterbacks because he's only done it once. And I have no way of giving you an opinion on Joe Shane. But I will say this, something quick this draft, and all of a sudden he drafted a whole lot better this year. But he's never drafted a quarterback. So we'll see. We'll see.
We shall see.
All right, guys. We'll be back again for you guys Wednesday. Must
truck Wednesday.
Standard time, unless the world burns down tomorrow night. Who knows? But listen, guys, we'll be back 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be going over the preview of the game in Munich there with the Giants going against the Panthers and trying to win so that Dable gets to keep his job, because losing to the Panthers means you get fired, apparently. Listen, you know the other team, the team that beat the Raiders, right? I mean, that beat the Panthers was the Raiders. That lost to the Panthers, I'm sorry, was the Raiders. So literally on Monday, they fired the offensive coordinator who lost to the Panthers weeks ago, and they fired the head coach that lost to the Panthers last week.
Yep. Get a little Derek Carr.
Not good. So like I said, we'll be talking about this and talking about all the potentials for that game there. Also talking about our thoughts on sauerkraut and beer. No, I'm kidding. I love beer. I hate sauerkraut.
Pancakes?
I do love pancakes. All right, guys. We'll be back again Wednesday, again, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and, of course, Rob's favorite. And, of course, as always, we're available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms. Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon, all the big ones there, guys. If you haven't already, do me a favor, please. Hit the like, hit that subscribe, hit that share button, tell a friend.
Ring that bell.
And ring the bell if you're on YouTube. That's a big one there. Also, if you're listening on audio, please hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on Apple, give a review as well. It really helps us get the ball rolling and everything there, guys. And again, we appreciate you guys listening. Again, we know you got plenty of options where to get the news. We know we're kind of masochists here for sitting here talking about the Giants, so we appreciate you guys joining in our misery. We're just gluttons for punishment here. So, again, guys, we'll see you guys Wednesday night. And as always, Giant fans,
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.